Welcome to the No More Mondays podcast, the show that inspires confident professionals by interviewing people who actually enjoy what they do for work. I'm your host, Angie Callen, and I welcome you to join me each week as I chat with founders, entrepreneurs, and employees who have figured out that special sauce, the magic, the mystery to having no more Mondays. Hello there, everyone. This is Angie, your host of the No More Mondays podcast, here with some fun and lighthearted bonus content to help you get your No More Mondays fix. You all know I love the outdoors, and there is absolutely no better time to play in the Colorado mountains, get refueled, and re-energized than summertime. So I'm inviting you to take a hike with my buddy Foster and me as we offer you a series of snack pack snippets and highlights while you anxiously await the start of our next full season. And as a little teaser, that is currently under production. We are back again with another summer snack pack, and today I'm going to revisit some of the words our guests gave us for Mondays. And this is going to be kind of a fun conversation because Jane, our producer, is here. And if you recall, in our season one, we had a rapid fire, and the last question of that rapid fire was to ask our guests what word they associated with Monday. And we got some really inspiring kind of actions and things that Jane and I are going to chat about. So Jane, tell us what we've got.
It's really fun when you look at the list of these words as a compilation from all of the different guests, because everyone is entering and connecting to Mondays in a different way. The first two sort of go together, optimistic and let's go, very action oriented.
And positive, which is very logical for who, if I remember correctly, who those words go with. And I think it's really interesting, like you said, the power of words in a collection. So all of them together and how different, yet I'm sure like there's common themes there, like optimistic and let's go is that really that idea that Monday is a new start. And instead of dreading it, really looking at it as an opportunity to start anew, tackle new things, adopt a new habit, whatever it may be. And that let's go mentality of like, it's Monday. I'm ready. I'm refreshed. Let's go.
Question about that, which I think I love it. I love both of these words, or actually let's go as a phrase.
Yeah, but close enough.
Having the idea, it's sort of ingrained in everybody that you start fresh on Monday.
It really is. And you know, here's what's kind of funny about that. For a good chunk of the last year, my week has actually started on Sunday because I did this Sunday through Thursday schedule, and I've adjusted it a little bit, which is kind of neither here nor there. But I'll tell you, it was really mentally, my week still started on Monday. It was like Sunday was this outlier. And after 20 years in the professional world, like to mentally shift yourself away from the fact that Monday is Monday is really, really interesting. And you're absolutely right, is that we have it's that cycle. It's the 7-day cycle of you start to the week, you get over the hump, you end the week, you have your weekend to yourself, and then it's all starts over again.
Monday. Love it. Okay.
Yep. Hopefully they don't get you down.
Right. No, listen to our podcast. No more Mondays.
And the song list, because then you'll know that reference.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. The next one, this was great. This guest suggested others and a day to be focused on others rather than yourself,
which I think is huge because just society wise, we really do kind of are focused on ourselves. Sorry to call you all selfish, but it can be very easy to go inward, especially if you find Mondays difficult. You tend to kind of, stay reserved, stay separated from everyone. Whereas if you could turn that around and look at it as the opportunity and let's go, you could then kind of reframe it with, okay, how am I going to give to others today and this week? And kind of that would give us all the opportunity to kind of like break that inward cycle that is sometimes common on Monday mornings.
Right. And it allows you to have that sort of stepping stone of momentum.
Absolutely. Mondays and momentum are a good correlation. Is that on our list?
No, but it should be.
Okay, that's Jane's word. That's going to be Jane's word for Mondays. Momentum Mondays. I'm going to maybe start a new trend and move away from meatless Mondays, and we're going to say momentum Mondays.
Okay.
Love it.
All right. The next one, actually, the next two sort of go together as well. Magical and rejuvenating.
They kind of do. They're like the woo-woo words, as I like to call them. But Michaela would laugh at that since she's the magical. But, her personality is so appropriate for the word magical, because to me, that summarizes how she would approach giving to others and let's go on a Monday.
Yeah.
And that's very, very true, is that if you really can look at it as a reset and a refresh, that means the world is open to all new possibilities. And that really can be magical.
Totally agree. And rejuvenating, sometimes that might be counterintuitive. Because you might think a Friday or a weekend to be rejuvenating, but this guest had that word for Monday.
And if you think about it, you could think of the weekend as being rejuvenated, so that now you start your week and you can go be rejuvenating.
Very good. The next one is anointed and appointed. So how you can make an impact and change lives.
I guess it's that idea, because that almost makes me pause for a second. And you know me, I start talking before the thought is completed. But I think that's the idea that we have been anointed or tasked or given or blessed with something that we're supposed to be doing. And so we have the opportunity to take that kind of anointing or those gifts or that blessing and go out into the world and do good things with it. And Monday is a beginning, an opportunity to do that once again.
The next one, giving yourself grace on Monday.
I think I'm going to just take a guess that this is going to be, all these words are not going to, associate with everyone, but I'm going to guess that that's the word that is likely the most widely relatable for people, because let's just admit, not every Monday is going to be magical and filled with optimism. Some of them are just going to be bad. The same is true for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday too. And I think that we are really hard on ourselves, and whether it has to do with Monday or whether it has to do with trouble in the workplace, whether it has to do with raising kids, whatever it is in life, I feel like we're just so hard on ourselves that sometimes grace is a word we really, really need to remember.
And that taps into that feeling if people have that anxiousness or Sunday scaries, as some of our guests were talking about, just the dread of what's next, what's coming on Monday.
Yes. And sometimes you have to almost give yourself grace around those feelings, because ignoring them might just perpetuate it. But just, okay, and what does grace look like? Because we say this word and some people are like, what does that even mean? It means saying, okay, I have this feeling. I'm going to accept it. I'm going to work through it. And I'm going to be okay with it for right now. You give yourself grace instead of beating yourself up like, oh, I shouldn't feel this way. Oh, I should get a new job. Oh, why am I still here? Oh, I'm so stupid. Why have I done this? Letting go of all that and just saying, this is where I'm at, and I'm going to use Monday as an opportunity to begin making change is a really great way to have grace for yourself as you're challenged.
And that makes me think of allowing people to have control over their schedule and how they treat their Mondays. We had some guests that really had some interesting feedback in how they actually handled their Mondays.
I know the approach there was really interesting, because there was a distinct, total dichotomy in it, because we had Kristen, who approaches Mondays by front loading, because she's refreshed, she's ready to go. That's when she's got the most energy, and that's when she's probably most accountable to her schedule, which I actually would probably agree I could resonate with. But so she front loads her week so that by Friday, when she is a little bit, less energized and has gone through the week, she's can roll into the weekend a little bit easier. Whereas I think it was Kelly who doesn't book meetings on Mondays.
Yeah, I think that's right.
So that she had some space to ramp up into the week and get tasks done. And it's funny because I could also resonate with that idea. Fortunately, I probably can't have both. But yeah, the idea of giving herself space to start the week off in a really productive way and knock a bunch of tasks off the list with less disruption was also really, really interesting. So it's really cool to see these suggestions on how these people who are doing so well in the professional world have begun to understand themselves and how they need to give themselves grace, or how they need to structure their schedules and their Mondays to be the most effective person they can be.
Yeah, that self-awareness is so key. Okay, great. The next one is opportunity.
Well, I think that is the overarching word that applies to all of the 7 or 8 words before it. Is Monday is an opportunity to give yourself grace. It's an opportunity to adopt a let's go mentality. It's an opportunity to create magic. It's all of those things.
So what if you're a person who has a hard time grasping and taking hold of that opportunity? What if you're stuck?
I think if you're stuck, you have to figure out what small step you can make. If you've listened to all of our snack packs, you've probably heard Jane and I chat about the reading list. And there's actually a correlation here I'm going to bring into the conversation, which is if you can figure out the one thing you can do to get yourself unstuck or to at least move yourself towards unstuck, it can make a big difference. In that conversation, we talk about how basically like far off goals are just so far off, we can't motivate ourselves around the actions to get to them. But if you can figure out the small steps to get there, then it seems a little bit more digestible. And that, I think, is how you can approach opportunity on a Monday if you're stuck. Don't just accept the stuck. Figure out the first small thing you could do to change it, whether it's calling somebody like me, whether it's researching other jobs you could do, whether it's having your resume written, whether it's buying a book to help you get in a different mindset, do something. Don't just do nothing.
But you actually have to read the book.
Yeah, you have to read the book. So don't follow my lead and let him sit on your bookshelf for 3 years.
Well, you eventually read the book.
That's right. They get cracked open at exactly the right time, Jane.
Okay. This next one, and actually this is the last one that came up from guests, is easy.
I all of a sudden want to start singing Easy Like Monday Morning. Maybe we could just remake that song. But if you think about it, if you've set yourself up with a good mentality and you look at Monday as an opportunity and you've structured your week in a way that accommodates your need for grace and your way that you work, whether it's front loading, whether it's back loading, whatever it is, Mondays become easy.
And so much of all of this is really connected to your mindset.
There's another, Jane, you're getting the alliteration on point today. Because so far we have momentum mindset Mondays, but I think that all of these things would funnel up into mindset. A lot fewer of them are about actions than they are about the state of your mind. And I think even going back to what do you do if you're stuck and you want an opportunity on Monday, it comes down to mindset. You can tell yourself you're stuck there and just stay in that pattern, or you can tell yourself you're going to break it and do something about it.
In working with all your clients, are you hearing a word that's coming up?
We don't. So even though I have a podcast about No More Mondays, I guess the topic of Mondays doesn't necessarily point blank come up in a lot of the conversations. But I think the best way to answer this is the word that I see come up most recurring in every client I work with is confidence or lack thereof. And it actually informed the whole tagline for Career Benders, which is inspiring confident professionals. Because what I began to realize as I built this business and worked with more and more professionals at different stages and different levels and different industries of their careers, that everybody struggles with confidence. Whether it is a new grad trying to navigate this crazy market, or whether it's a seasoned, C-suite executive who's been at the same company for 20 years and can't figure out how to move out of it, or somebody in the mid-career who wants to level up but doesn't know how to position themselves, that word confidence just became a really recurring theme and still is. And so I often joke, but it's true, that I'm half career coach and half confidence coach. And I think that everything that we're doing on No More Mondays, and even these words, are reflective of the fact that we're really trying to rebuild people's confidence to take a step to have no more Mondays and to look at them as easy and opportunistic and as better than that 70% of Americans who hate their jobs may. I hope you enjoyed this No More Mondays snack pack. Thank you so much for listening. Tune in again next week for some more fun to help you bridge the gap into our next season. And until then, wear sunscreen, stay hydrated, pet a dog, and most importantly, get outside. Thanks for listening to this episode of No More Mondays. We hoped you grabbed some great insights to help you improve your professional satisfaction. Please visit us at Apple iTunes and give us a rating so we can continue to offer you awesome interviews and content each week. No More Mondays. New episodes drop every Wednesday. No More Mondays is brought to you by Career Benders, Inc. in partnership with executive producer Jane Durkee. For more information about career coaching, resume writing, personal branding, recruiting, and entrepreneurship coaching services, visit our website at careerbenders.com. That's careerbenders, B as in boy, S as in Sam.com. This is your host, Angie Callen, signing off. Until next week, when we chat with another inspired, confident professional.